Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Headbangers Closet. Hope everyone's doing well today and enjoying the weekend. This video is going to be a story time, Headbangers Closet story time. So hopefully you guys will dig this, maybe funny story to you. Not so much funny story to me, although I can laugh at it now. It's been years later. But so this is a story of my worst, most uncomfortable concert experience ever. Unfortunately for me, it involves my all-time favorite band, Metallica. It was on the tour in July of 1998 in support of the album Reload, which came out the November of 97 prior to that. But before that, maybe this can be a thread. I've tried to do videos and maybe start a thread. It didn't really work, but maybe this starts a thread where you guys do a video and kind of tell me your worst concert experience. For this particular experience, it had nothing to do with the band playing. I've been to hundreds of shows, and there's been a few where I didn't think the band sounded very good for whatever reason. Never walked out of a show because of it. Just maybe certain band members were sick, or clubs sound system kind of went out for a little bit. But this is a story that had nothing to do with that kind of experience. It was basically the things that happened to me before and during the show, not related to the band playing at all. But first things first, let's talk about what I've been listening to lately, and you guys can leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys have been listening to lately. So the first things I want to talk about is death metal Sentient Horror, their last album, In Service of the Dead, which came out last year. Been listening to this a lot the last couple of days. These guys are from Philly, a four-piece death metal band from Philly. And I've been kind of binging on them the last few days because I saw an Instagram post from the vocalist and lead guitar player, and he was mentioning that two of the guys quit the band to focus on other projects. And he mentioned no ill will. The other projects are very near and dear to their hearts, as other projects is to his heart as well. So no ill will to those guys, wishes them all well. But because of it, and because of the projects that the lead vocalist and lead guitar player are gonna focus on lately, that Sentient Horror is gonna take a bit of a break. And then when he gets guys in the band, he'll kind of restart the band. But it looks like they're going to be on quite a bit of a hiatus. I really like this album from Redefining Darkness. Really, really good record. It's on that nice dark green, forest green. Just great old school meat and potato style death metal. Really, really good stuff. All their albums are really good. I happen to think this is the best one. And listen to a lot of Hellripper's Coronach. A lot of you guys have been talking about this record, which is amazing. All you guys dig it, which I like. James McBain. That's my best Simpsons McBain impression. On gray vinyl, really, really sharp looking, really, really good stuff. Excellent album. I've watched, I think, 3 videos this week where people have praised that record. So, really, really good album. And then, of course, Electrocutioner, Harbinger, New York City thrash metal. I've been talking about this for a while. Hopefully by now you're sick of hearing me talk about it and you've given it a listen. It's amazing. Check it out. And the latest from Cruel Force. I think they're from Germany or something, but just awesome speed metal. Album's called Haneda. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Haneda. Their last album, Dawn of the Axe, was great as well. Killer artwork on all of their records. And this was nice blue vinyl, but just a really, really good, catchy speed metal at its finest. Cruel Force, check it out, awesome stuff. And much like this video, focusing on Metallica, I've been listening to a lot of live Metallica lately. This is from the Ride the Lightning Deluxe box set, Hollywood Palladium, from Los Angeles, California, March 10th, 1985. Off the Ride the Lightning album tour before they went into the studio in Europe to record Puppets. Awesome set list right here. You got Ecstasy of Gold, Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, Phantom Lord, Pulling Teeth, Bells, No Remorse, Fade to Black, Seek, Creeping Death, Am I Evil, and the show concludes with Motor Breath. Really, really cool show. I've been listening to a lot of this one the last few days. And then another killer show, killer tour, killer performance. Metallica at Nagayo, Japan, on that short Japanese tour after Cliff passed, right after they got Jason in the band. There's a gatefold right there. Really, really cool stuff. That was a really cool tour. Wasn't the first shows Jason played with them, but it was the first tour he went on with the band. There are stories that when they were doing the meet and greets in Japanese record stores, that it was Jason was before James, so Jason would write like bass face, and James would like cross it out so it was ass face. That's a story. I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard it a long time ago. That was a story. They basically hazed the shit out of Jason on this tour, racking up huge bills, beer, liquor, and food bills in Japan, and making him pay for it. But really cool show from Nagoya, Japan. Battery, Puppets, Bells, Sanitarium, Ride the Lightning, Whiplash, Thing That Should Not Be, Fade to Black, Seek, Creeping Death, Four Horsemen, Guitar Solo, Am I Evil, Damage Inc., and Fight Fire with Fire ends the show. And then we've got Metallica, Metallic Death Volume 1. Love the artwork. Don't have Volume 2, though. If anybody's got an extra copy, love to trade or buy it from you. But this one is on blue vinyl. There's a bunch of different colored variants of this particular boot. Nothing fancy. That's not even too rare of a bootleg. I think you could find it on eBay. But it's from the Metallica Live at the Keystone in Palo Alto, California on Halloween, October 31st, 1983. It's a real show. It's not like the Jump in the Fire or the Whiplash EP where it's like piped in crowd noise. So it's not really live. It's them playing in the studio and piped in crowd noise. I think this is a real live recording if I'm not mistaken. But it's Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen, Jump in the Fire, Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, Phantom Lord, and When Hell Freezes Over, which would go on to become Cthulhu. Interesting that on this 7-song album, 3 of the songs are from Ride the Lightning, which they would go into the studio sometime after the show to record that album. Last but not least, we've got Metallica live at the Reading Fest in Reading, England, August 24th, 97. This is Metallica Blitzkrieg 97. Killer boot. It's a gatefold. Take it out for a minute here. It's got the it's got like the fake Obi right here. The record comes called Axe Attack. There's the gatefold right here. So what is this? This is lyrics to all the tunes. It's kind of lame for a bootleg in my opinion. Would have been way cooler if it was like all the tour dates from that tour, but kind of lame to have all. I mean, it's all the songs in order of the show. I mean, there they are right there. I'm not going to read them all off. I don't want this video to be an hour and a half long, but sounds really, really good. There it is, a nice blue and white swirl vinyl, really sharp looking. But excellent show. Sounds amazing from that really cool Reload tour, which I went to a bunch of shows on that tour here in the States. Love that. And that was kind of when like the MP3s online were kind of big. I remember on that Load tour, Devil's Dance and Fuel, the working versions of those 2 songs were played every now and again on that tour, so people were always trying to find those MP3s to download to get those early versions of those songs, which Reload wouldn't come out yet till the following fall, which was November 97 when Reload came out. And that's kind of where my story begins. I just mentioned a minute ago I saw Metallica a bunch of times on that Load tour, saw them a bunch of times on the Black Album tour, so I was already kind of a Metallica veteran. But I was still a young kid. I was probably maybe 98, early 20s. Still got that, I still get that excitement feeling now before Metallica or a band I like goes on stage. But back then it was a little bit more butterflies in the stomach, and a little bit more of still like kind of that innocence type of feeling, when that my all-time favorite band, my hero, is going to take the stage. So anyway, Metallica announces the tour. I get tickets to as many of the shows as I can. These shows were played at the Outdoor Amphitheater, Great Woods Amphitheater in Mansfield, Massachusetts. If you don't know anything about Massachusetts, the only arenas that are in Boston are where the Red Sox, Celtics, and Bruins play. But like Patriots play at Foxborough Stadium in a real small suburb about 40 minutes outside the city. And then Mansfield, Mass is right next to Foxborough, which is right next to my hometown, North Attleboro. So Foxborough and Mansfield are 10, 15-minute drives from home. So much closer than going into Boston to see them like I did on the Load tour. So this was played at the Outdoor Amphitheater. Most of you guys watching this video know what outdoor amphitheaters are. They're just that covered pavilion seating and then the open lawn. So I had, they did 2 shows, Saturday and Sunday. For the Saturday show, the 18th, I got lawn. So $31 for the ticket, $4.75 fee. There it is right there. There's the lawn and then the price. Saturday, July 18th, 1998, Great Woods Amphitheater, sponsored by WBZ and Budweiser. And then the next night, because the story does have a happy ending, I had better seats in the middle section, section 2. There it is right there. You can see section 2, row P, seat 38, which is basically, depending on how you're looking at the map or how you look at the stage, it was like 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. But I was in 2, front and center. I was row P, which was maybe like 15 to 20 rows from the barrier and then the stage. So I had really, really good seats, but there it is right there. And this ticket, because it was seats, covered pavilion seats, was a little more expensive, but it was only $43 with the same $4.75 fee. So under 50 bucks, I was able to go see Metallica and sit like 15th to 20th row. So anyway, let's get to the story. Night number 1, Saturday night. Wake up really excited. My brother's excited. We're going to go to the show. He and I are going to go together, and there's going to be some friends that are going to meet at my house. We're all going to caravan to the venue, like 10, 15 minutes away. Park. Great Woods was a giant open gravel parking lot and there was porta-johns scattered throughout because, trust me, porta-johns are playing a big part of this story. But if there was another like small one, they kind of cut out like the summer before, and it was like a little creek with some trees, and then on the other side of that, they kind of had cut out, built a little bridge. They cut a bunch of trees down, and there was like a separate parking lot. So where we were parking, if the porta-johns line was too long, a lot of guys would just walk over to the creek and the trees, just kind of piss behind a tree. Nobody could see you. You wouldn't have to wait in line. So we get there. I think we get there like around like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're grilling out. We're drinking beer, and shortly after I got there, my stomach started feeling a little queasy. Back in those days, I had a very nervous stomach, and then eating would kind of make it worse. So I ate a couple of hot dogs, and I'm not feeling so good, if you know what I'm saying. Got to go to the Porta-John. Not something I want to do. It's middle of July. It's hot. Don't want to go in there, really, for any reason, let alone that reason, okay? I'm sure you can kind of get where I'm getting at with this. So I go in there, and it's just uncomfortable. I come out, and I'm just not feeling good. I think I went in a couple more times. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling dehydrated. I'm sweating. I just feel gross and sticky. My stomach's gurgling. It just feels uneasy. I feel a little bit nauseous. My brother's like, pound some beers, man. You'll feel better. It'll soothe your stomach. So, all right. I always listen to what my brother says. I'm pounding beers, right? And I'm just pounding them. You know, back then, I didn't pound a lot of beers. I had like 4 or 5, and I'm pretty drunk. And we're packing up to go in. Days of the New was the opener, and then Jerry Cantrell, then Metallica. And I like Days of the New. They had a couple of songs on the local radio station. Their album was pretty good. I liked them. They kind of had that acoustic sound, which kind of pertains to Metallica, because earlier that year they did the Don't Call Us, We'll Call You radio show. It was acoustic with Pepper Keenan from Corrosion Conformity, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, I think John Popper from Blues Traveler with the harmonica guy, and they did a bunch of stuff, which is where the song Tuesday's Gone came from. That ended up on the Garage Inc. albums, which would come out that upcoming November of the same year of 1998. So they did 97 November Reload, and the next year 98 Garage Inc. And then in the middle of that summer was the tour. So that whole acoustic thing, Metallica would play like X amount of songs. They would stop doing like an acoustic set of like 3 or 4 songs, and then end the show with a handful of songs doing it electric, like the right way, in my opinion. So anyway, so we wanted to go see Days of the New. So we're packing up, and I happen to have my right hand, on the back of my truck, just above the taillights, and my brother shut the tailgate, and my hand got caught in it. Cut my middle finger pretty bad. It was bleeding. It hurt worse than the actual wound was. It was extremely painful, if I can remember. It was bleeding pretty good, but there was no bone showing. It was just a superficial flesh wound. I just ripped the flesh off my finger. I think it kind of like ripped a little bit of the fingernail. It hurt something awful, and it bled a little bit, but it wasn't like catastrophic injury. But I'm like, all right. I put some napkins on there, and we're walking, because I knew right where they start looking at your tickets, there was always an ambulance there. So we get up there, everybody gets in line to have your, peel off the ticket. Back in those days, when you get them at JCPenney, there was another piece where they just peel it off, and then you keep this to show to the ushers. And I go to the guys in the ambulance. I'm like, hey, man, my hand's bleeding and I don't feel too great. Is there something you can do? And they're like, oh, well, we'll have to take you down to the hospital for stitches. I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to miss the bands. I'll deal with it. So, I still had the napkins wrapped around it. So I went in and we go in. And right when I get in, my stomach starts to feel a little queasy. So when you get into Great Woods and a lot of amphitheaters, it's like the food and drink booth and the merch booth. And then there's that. It's like a baseball diamond dugout style thing. You go in, it's like a bathroom. There's lots of stalls, lots of urinals. I went to the bathroom, wasn't too bad. Still real hot and sticky. So we get out, and like an idiot, I get something to eat. I get another hot dog and another beer, and it was a dumb move because I'm on the lawn, and I'm already pissed that I have to go be on the lawn for my favorite band, and I'm worried that I'm not going to get to see them. My biggest fear is I'm going to not be able to see the band. I'm going to have to watch them on the big giant screens and just listen to them, and I'm like, I can do that on the home video. Paid my money at the time, 35 bucks was kind of a lot of money to me, right? I was a college kid. So we get up there, and my brother's instantly, he's like, let's go to the back. We'll get some drinks, we'll hang out. And I'm like, man, we're going to be the way back. So most outdoor amphitheaters, that back lawn, when it ends, is like this 25-foot tall wall that separates it from the next property, right? So we're back there getting beers, and I got to go to the bathroom. It hits me again, and I go to the porta-john, and it didn't look pretty in there. A lot of people drinking, a lot of drunk people in there throwing up, peeing all over the place. And I have to go. And I go, and it's just awful feeling. It's uncomfortable. And I don't feel good on top of that. So I get out, and I don't know how much longer, but Days of the New comes on. And during Days of the New, I got to go to the bathroom again. So I go back to the bathroom. We're kind of hanging out near the porta-johns on the way back anyway. And they're on, and I go to the bathroom, and it's just even worse than the time before. And of course, in these situations, it's always going to happen. Even though I'm pretty sure I hit the little lock on the door, someone jiggles it and the door opens, and there I am sitting there, and there's a bunch of people in line, and oh, okay. And it was embarrassing, and then the guy shuts the door, and I'm just like, this is a freaking nightmare, man. Just sucks. And, anyway, I just feel awful. We get out, and, Jerry Cantrell's playing. We see him, and then Metallica's about to come on. And between Cantrell and Metallica, me and two buddies were like, let's try to, I was kind of scrawny. Like, let's try to get down there to the front. So we kind of made our way off to the right, almost leaving the lawn section. Way off to the right, we kind of squeezed to the middle, barrier. They're like the poles, the barrier. And then right in front of us is the concourse at the top of the seated pavilion. So the lights go down, the Ecstasy of Gold comes on, Metallica starts, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel great, but Metallica's coming on. I kind of feel better just because Metallica's on. So, and I'm just like, yeah, and I don't remember how many songs into the show, but when Puppets came on, I remember James, when he kicks into that riff, it's just him for a second in the beginning, and I'm just like, yeah, and I feel hands on my hips, then my knees, and up and over. Here I go. Someone lifts me up, and I don't know whether they were trying to throw me over and then get my spot, or they're like, look at this small kid, let's pick him up and crowd surf. I don't know. So I'm up over, and I kind of hit the last pole, rung pole, and I go over. I land on my back on the concrete, and I'm in the seated pavilion, and it hurt, but I'm a young guy. It didn't hurt too bad. My first thought was, holy shit, now I'm in the seated area. I was going to try to run down the long staircase, just kind of sneak in, second level of seats and try to see the show. But instantly, 3 or 4 ushers were on me. And instead of being like, hey man, you okay? You okay? Let me see your ticket stub. So I show him my ticket stub. You're on the lawn. And I thought I was going to get kicked out of the show altogether because the guy had me by the arm, the cop putting you up around the arm. And they ushered me out of the, little walkway there and just let go of me, and off I went, and I went back, and I'm Metallica's playing, and I recall as I'm walking back, it was of Wolf and Man. I remember that, and I'm it's a sea of humanity. I'm never getting back in there. And I'm looking at 5,000 people that I'm gonna have to go through to get back to my two buddies by the rail, and next thing you know, I'm walking into a mosh pit, and I get knocked over. Thankfully, didn't have glasses back in those. I get knocked over, get picked right back up, but landed on my hand, and the next thing you know, my hands, I was bleeding again. I don't feel good, dude. Like, it's awful. Like, the whole show's awful. I go back up to where my brother is with the rest of our friends, and biggest fear that I had coming in, I'm stuck just listening to the band play, watching it from the monitors. I can't even see, like, over the people, like, putting their hands in the air. I could barely see the stage. I'm watching it on the monitor, and I'm like, this is awful. We go home, and I was just bent out of shape the whole day. But didn't completely ruin everything, because I knew the next day I had killer seats for the Sunday show. Like I showed you the ticket earlier. Had awesome seats, and same deal, same caravan of people, but I met a different friend in the parking lot. The tailgate with us, didn't eat. Had a few beers, but didn't eat anything crazy beforehand. But her name was Lorraine, and she was the local chapter head of the local Metallica fan club, like local Massachusetts chapter. So because of that, she was able to get meet and greet passes, 2 of them, and she gave me 1. So I got to go before the show, do a meet and greet with Metallica. Now, they told us right away, we got like a semicircle, and they're like, James and Jason are going to come out. Lars is doing radio interviews, so he can't make it. Kirk is doing something. They said he was doing like something with the guitars, so he wasn't going to make it out. But James and Jason come out. So we're all in a semicircle. Jason comes out first. And then, you know, as Jason's like halfway through the circle, I'm like kind of on the back half of the semicircle. As Jason's halfway through, James comes out. So I got a bunch of pictures, which I should have brought him out. And I've got what Jason is signing in this photo. It's the CD cover for Justice for All, which is over there. I should have brought that out with the rest of the pictures. But here's Jason signing for a young, scrawny Brett. There's the t-shirt I'm wearing is the Load Tour, Poor Touring Me t-shirt. So he's signing my cover of Injustice for All, and he made small talk, you know, just don't really, he was always like wanting to know jokes. I remember that, asking like, have you heard any jokes? They're on the road. I guess he doesn't hear the latest jokes. He relies on the fans to tell him. I don't know. But anyway, she's telling jokes, or asking about people telling jokes, and that's what I remember about meeting Jason. Really nice guy. And then James comes around, and James had a West Coast chopper. If you remember back then, that show was like super popular at the time, or East Coast chopper. I don't know, one of them chopper shows where the father and son are always arguing with each other. So he's got a tank top, wife beater shirt with that on there. So as he's coming around, I'm just thinking, okay, here comes James Hetfield. You're a freaking hero, dude. You've been Metallica fan since 1988, a real Metallica fan since 88, 89. You know, don't say something stupid, okay? Don't say anything stupid. He comes to me, and I look at him, he shakes my hand, and says, hey, what's up, man? Or like, what's up, dude? And I'm like, I say, I like your shirt. And he kind of looks down at the shirt, like trying to remember, like, what shirt did I put on today? And she goes, oh, thanks. And I was awkward. There was like an awkward moment of silence. And then he's like, is this your first show? And I told him, no, I've seen you guys like 20 times. He's like, asked where, you know, I think he could tell I was nervous. And James really, from what I gathered, I've only met him 2 times. And from what I gathered, he's not like this recently, but back then he kind of was. He kind of tried to make you feel a little bit more at ease. I think it maybe helped him as well. And then he asked me like where I was from, and you know what album was my favorite album, and brought a disposable camera to the show. Got a lot of cool pictures from the show because I, like I said, I had good seats, and gave it to my buddy to take pictures of me getting stuff signed, and then I did the favor for him. Steve Puccia, if you're watching this video, I'm still pissed about this, but here's the picture of me and James Hetfield. He's got his hand over the lens so you can barely see James Hetfield. But there's me and James Hetfield from that meet and greet, 1998, July 19th, Sunday, 1998. There's the picture from the meet and greet of me and James Hetfield. Thankfully, I was able to meet him again on the Summer Sanitarium tour, and I got a better picture of he and I. But, you know, show was awesome. I had a killer seat for that show, right dead smack in the middle. So great. Had an awesome time. Set list was awesome. I'll let you guys research it if you want to, but just had a great time. So my worst concert experience turned out with a happy ending of a very, very good, amazing top 10 concert experience. So that's my story. Hope you dug it. Hope you stuck around this long. We're almost at 25 minutes of me rambling. But that's my worst concert experience that didn't have anything to do with anything the band did. So let me know yours in the comments. Let me know what your worst concert experience is. Or make your own video and tag me in it. Let me know what your worst concert experience of your life is. So again, appreciate everybody watching me ramble. Appreciate all you guys checking out the channel, and I'll have another video for you very soon. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.